Trump has finally done it. He has made Greenland this insane offer that they cannot refuse, a sort of ultimatum, if you will, and he made it to the head of Europe's NATO, the General Secretary of NATO, Mark Rutte, who surprisingly agreed with him. So let's get into it. Let's get into all the specifics of the deal. And first, let me give you the necessary context to understand the motivation, the background behind this current push to get Greenland, to get this deal done. Listen to what Trump says to NATO during that meeting.
And it's very important for us. And again, they were defeated very quickly. Denmark was beaten in 1 day, less than 1 day, by the Nazis, by Hitler. And when this happened, they immediately switched it over to us. We owned it. We had it. We were taking care of it, and then we gave it back, which is, I don't know why. I wouldn't have given the Panama Canal back either.
So what he's talking about is how Greenland is an island that's under Denmark's control. But during World War II, when the Nazis took over Denmark in 1 day, they handed Greenland over to America under a treaty. It was an agreement relating to the defense of Greenland on April 9th, 1941, for America to take care of. And that's what Donald Trump is referring to. We built up a bunch of military bases there too, 17 of them. But after the war, after 1945, Germany's surrender, we gave them, most of them, back to Denmark. And they resumed control of the island, and they resumed responsibility for its protection. Okay? However, Trump has always felt that that wasn't fair. That wasn't fair to the United States. You know, even now, today, we give a lot of money to Denmark, to NATO, for their protection against Russia, and in part, protection for Greenland. So we are still subsidizing their protection, which led to during the when he first took office last year, the massive push to get Greenland. We sent JD Vance over there. He flew in, he talked to some officials. Their officials came over to the White House. They talked to us, but ultimately, everything broke down. NATO didn't agree, Europe didn't agree. A bunch of people in Europe, a bunch of countries in Europe said, hey, we're not going to let this happen. Denmark doesn't want this to happen. Berlin called it unacceptable, intolerable, a hostile act, a mistake. Everyone's mad about this, so it kind of faded out. Trump's team, Trump's administration, they kind of let it fade out. They didn't, exactly say we're not going to do this anymore, but they didn't pursue it any longer, and Europe thought that they were in the clear. But nope, we are now back again with an insane offer this time, an offer that Greenland will be stupid to refuse this time. Last time, the offer was join the United States as a state, we'll protect you and everything. This time, the offer might be a little bit even more enticing. And it's a two-part offer. And we're going to go through the first part now, which has to do with the famous, beautiful Golden Dome, which you don't know what that is. I'll let President Trump explain it here.
Country. In the campaign, I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack. And that's what we're doing. Today, I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors.
And they've not only chosen an architect, they move forward a lot with this project. I mean, they've awarded SpaceX a $4 billion contract for the US Golden Dome satellites. So the way that this Golden Dome is going to work is that we're going to have satellites floating all over the United States, North America in the skies, and they're going to be tracking the incoming projectiles that might harm the United States. They're going to coordinate with our interceptors on the ground, who takes all this information in real time and then shoots those missiles out of the sky. They're going to fire counter projectiles that shoots them out of the sky, protecting the entirety of America from any incoming threats. Sounds like something out of Star Wars, but it's going to work, and it's going to protect the entirety of America. But not only America, because it's in the sky, because we have the technology, it can protect all of North America and even further, including Canada and Mexico. And Trump, so he wants to use this as part of the offer towards Greenland. It seems like that Greenland, or NATO at least, is very responsive to this Golden Dome protection offer, because they're very quite close to Russia. So if Russia were to launch a missile, it would hit them very quickly from like Siberia. But so here's Mark Rutte once again talking about the Golden Dome. Let me play this clip for you guys.
And on Greenland, you and I made a deal in Davos. I will make sure that that deal is step by step being implemented. That you can deploy, if you want, the Golden Dome on Greenland. You have your trilateral talks. Marco is leading them.
So that's the first part of the deal, the Golden Dome. All right, that's one of the carrot on a stick here. Join us, you get the Golden Dome. Don't join us, we'll see. You probably won't get it. And the second part of the deal relates once again to NATO. NATO and its military expenditures, as we talked about earlier in the video, how Denmark wasn't able to protect Greenland during World War II, and how even now they're struggling to protect Greenland because they don't have the money, they don't have the military for it. Let's look at this graphic. I always love this graphic here of defense expenditure by NATO countries. The United States is a NATO member, along with the rest of most of Europe, a lot of Europe. And as you can see here, we spend a lot more on defense than every single country combined. Oh my God, look at this. I don't even know where Denmark is on here with 3 billion. That's nothing. That's less than we spend on, like, I don't know, school bus repairs per year. Okay, probably not that much, but my point stands. You know, a lot of this is spent on our defense, but it's also spent on Europe's defense. You know, we give them weaponry, we host troops there, we host military bases there. So we protect the majority of Europe, and without us, they wouldn't be able to protect themselves against Russia. That is a fact. That is a stone cold fact. So Trump wants to use this to our advantage. So listen to what he says about Greenland on this topic.
Denmark doesn't spend money to really help Greenland, but it's an important part for the United States. And it's surrounded by China ships and Russian ships. And that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
And NATO agrees with us on this. Listen to what the Secretary General says here.
When it comes to the defense of the Arctic, he absolutely was right. Because there is a huge risk that Russia and China will gain more and more access to the Arctic.
Okay, so everyone recognizes that they need the United States. Greenland and Denmark and NATO, most of all, need us to protect themselves from Russia and the other threats. So in order to leverage this, what does Trump do? Well, he threatens to pull the United States, US troops from Europe if NATO doesn't agree to Greenland. Listen to what he says here.
Where specifically? I haven't made that final determination. A lot's going to depend on Greenland, and a lot. I mean, you know, we're going to make a very good deal on Greenland, and if we don't, maybe I will.
And he's talking about maybe I will pull the troops out of Europe. But that's the deal that we're giving on Greenland right now. Going back to this meme from 2019, my God, where Trump said, yeah, Greenland, we need a Trump Tower there. We definitely do. Do you think this is going to happen? Leave a comment down below. Do you think that we're going to be able to make this deal with Greenland? Will they accept this offer? Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys here again later.